Hello interwebs, it's Shannon again. We're on to number 3 of these, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I'm just going to dive right on in and we're going to see what the halves is with everything and nothing at all. So housekeeping stuff first. This week I had 24 views, which it says actually 27 on there, but I took away 3 for the times that I had to get in there to post shit. So 24 is still pretty awesome, still more than I thought it would be, but still a little bit more in line with where I thought it would have been last week. So, but that's still awesome, and that makes me very thankful. I'm excited about having 24 people who want to watch my shit. So, but still, haven't gotten a whole lot of questions or comments or concerns, or at least not in proportion to the amount of people who are watching. So I heartily encourage you to participate. That would be really, really rad. It would make you feel good and it would make me feel good. So this week, not a lot went on. It's been really busy at work, so I've been working late a whole lot. And as well this week, I had the angry uterus. That's never a good thing, but it just made the longer working hours and stuff worse. So I've just kind of been like staying in, taking care of myself, which means eating a lot of shit because my angry uterus dictates it, and that sort of thing. So since there hasn't really been a whole lot going on, actually, I lied. I did get a new toy. I got myself a new phone. It's so pretty. I love it. I've named it Hank. And it's an HTC Amaze, and it truly is amazeballs. And it's my very first smartphone, and I'm very much in love with it. Like, I wanted to make sweet, sweet motherfucking love to this little phone. I do agree that we're probably still in the honeymoon phase with the smartphone, but I'm in love with it thus far. So I'm gonna take the honeymoon phase as long as I can with it. So that makes me happy. I can get, I'm one small step closer to becoming a social media maven that I probably should be if I did things right and that sort of thing. So that is really all that has been going on exciting in my world. So we're gonna get to questions because we had some questions this week. First, I'm gonna keep this one anonymous since it was private messaged to me, so I'm assuming that they would like to keep this anonymous. But the question was, just like archaeologists, are all geologists left-handed? I don't know. I'm not a geologist, and nor am I left-handed. I try to make myself ambidextrous, but I don't know about all geologists. I don't even remember if my geology instructor was left-handed or not. But then the second part of the question was, are there any defining characteristics that make geologists geologists, or something like that? And the real defining characteristic, I think, is actually one that spans all the sciences, or all the people who work in sciences, is enthusiasm. I find that people who are sciencey are really, really, really excited about the fact that they're sciencey and that they work in science. And that is totally awesome. My geology instructor was insanely geeky and enthusiastic about dirt and volcanoes. She really wanted to be a volcanologist, but it turns out that there's not a whole lot of stable life you can have as a volcanologist, considering the fact that you're like walking in the middle of lava stuff all the time. And so she decided that she was going to do more of the dirt stuff, but still has a deep-seated love and affection for the volcanoes. So I think that that's it. I don't really have any other insight on that. But I would like to hear yours. So continue to message me or contact me or video message me or anything like that. Comments on this video, whatever you want to do about what you think, any of you think a defining characteristic of geologists are. The second set of questions comes from my girl Tawny out in Oklahoma. She's much hotter than the other Tawny that other people know. That Catan girl ain't got nothing on this one. And so I look forward to meeting her in real life at some point. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I know that it's destined to happen. I can just feel it. So Freebird asked me 3 questions. First, she asked me about the lotion that was on my speaker back there, and she asked that inferred that it was a giant bottle of lotion. Well, here is the lotion. It is Eucerin. It's not that giant, it's only 16.9 ounces. It just looks giant because my house is tiny. And so within that perspective, it looks like a giant bottle of lotion. Not that huge though. It's not like it's Costco size or anything. It works just fine. I don't use this one that often. The one that I use is actually in my gym bag at the gym for swimming, and I feel that that is a true test of a lotion, is post-swim moisturization is key. And so and this stuff kicks ass, surprisingly, I use the Jergens Ultra Healing Lotion, and it soaks right on in. It does not make my legs feel dry or flaky or itchy at all, and it's not that greasy, so that makes me happy, and it's cheap. So if you have hugely drying leg situations or anything like that, I recommend the Jergens Ultra Healing. So let's do, that's my Price is Right little advertisement for that one. She also asked about the Starburst thing that you can see on my back wall back there. It's actually a clock, you are correct. It's one of the fabulous 70s clocks. It was, I took it from my awesome neighbors who moved to Denver about a year ago, and I still owe them $25 for it, and because they couldn't fit it into their stuff that they were like trekking across and that sort of thing. And it's amazing. It does not work. It does not keep time, but I have it set to Miss Havisham time, in the very faint hope that if someone were to walk through my door and look at the clock and see what time it was set for and say, God, I should really know what that time means. Is it? And then they like eventually suss out that it's Miss Havisham time, then if it was a dude, I would instantly make out with them. If it was a chick, I would find a way to covertly grab her boob, because to be perfectly honest, it's such a turn on to me if someone would actually know, was as geeky about books as I am, to know what Miss Havisham time is. So that's number 2. And then number 3, she asked me my feelings on artichokes. I love artichokes. I love their hearts. I love their outsides, their skins. They're delicious with lemon and butter and everything. They're so hearty, and I feel like an artichoke sometimes because people say that they're like onions and that they have many layers, but onions are stinky, and artichokes have many layers too, and they are not stinky. So I prefer to be like an artichoke. I have a soft, gushy heart where when it gets rotten, it turns black on the inside, and I have hard shells on the outside, although I try to dress it up in soft girliness, but that rarely works. So that's how I feel about artichokes. I love them. They're delicious and nutritious and pretty. So those are the questions from Tawny. And then Megan also asked me another question about my music stuff, asking me about, or to keep an eye out for new forms in songwriting and that sort of thing. And I think I wanted to address this because I really think that it's not really being about being on the lookout for it, because Megan, you too are an artist, and very much so, and you should embrace that. And you've got lots and lots, you've got paper behind your artistry as well, and you've got content behind your artistry. And so I think that what happens is that once you become, like I was talking about last week, like an athlete at what you do, at your art, then you feel comfortable enough with your basics that you feel okay about striving to do something a little bit different with it, and you yourself are the one who's finding the different forms and playing with the different forms. I just finished reading a book where it said that William Shakespeare was the one who actually pioneered the use of non-rhyming pentameter in his plays, which was a huge step, and which was a huge new thing for plays at that time. Everything had to rhyme beforehand, and he decided to just make it, we're gonna try something and make it so it's not rhyming. And it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal, but when everything beforehand was rhyming and he still remained popular and probably became even more popular because it wasn't rhyming, then that's a big deal. So I think I think, and also in that same book, they were talking about improv, and in how like jazz artists do improv musical bits, and I can't think of the word right now for it, and that sort of thing. And they actually they put them into MRI machines and tested them and had them, play standard stuff so that they can get a baseline reading, and then had them say improv off of this particular note, and then they would do that, and then improv off of that and off of that, and basically what it showed is that improv goes back to the part of the brain that holds your habits and that holds your basics, the things that you know by rote and that you know by almost not even thinking about it. It just comes to you because you've done it so much. And so I think that if you get to a point with you, particularly in your playwriting, where it's just you're accessing something that you've always known and that you've always done, it's going to be easier for you to bridge off of that or break off of that and try something new, but still based on that. And so I think that when you bring those two things together, since you're bridging it off of something that is already known to you and is probably known to everyone else in some instinctive way because they've seen plays of some sort, then there's still something to relate to, even though it's brand new. So that's what I would urge you to do, is to try it yourself. Don't try to find someone else's doing it. Just try it yourself. You can do it. I know you can. You're extremely talented, and I look forward to seeing as much of your stuff as I can. I've loved the one that I've seen already, and I know that it'll be rad. You can do it. You're good at what you do. So that's my acknowledging of the people who acknowledged this. There we go, this week. And I was thinking, actually last night what I did is I was very excited and found that the very, very bad movie, The Cutting Edge, was on Netflix streaming. And I kind of did a little bit of what I realized at the end of it was that I did a little bit of like live Facebooking with it with regards to the movie and how I was feeling and what was distracting and, the things that I noticed. And so it made me think about that a little bit more. And while I don't think that I'll get a whole lot of interaction or anything like that, I think I'm gonna start live tweeting bad movies that are on Netflix. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. The one and only criteria is that it has to be on Netflix streaming, because that is the only way I'm getting my movies right now. So, but please send me your suggestions and I will live tweet about how bad they are or live tweet something about what I notice about them. Because, really it's all about me apparently. So, I think that that's going to be it-ish for today, because we are going to end this on our geology fact. So Dana, geology fact number 3. Did you know that there are 4 faults on or around or near the Oregon, Washington, and Northern California coasts? That is the reason that everyone thinks that there's going to be this huge, humongous earthquake that's going to be happening soon, and apparently that we're overdue about 700 years for. One of them is a transverse fault, which are the faults that rub together like the San Andreas fault. And then the other 3 are divergent faults, which means that the plates are going like this. And so then all this stuff gets sucked in and that sort of thing. But when the plates go like this, the plate that's moving here goes to the coastline plate and it starts to go under it, which is what makes everything move, which makes all the molten that's underneath, go to the volcanoes and start to want to explode and all that stuff. So there are 3 of those along the Pacific Northwest coast, and that means that it's highly active underneath the ground, geologically speaking. So I'm really looking forward to the obscenely huge earthquake that comes to the Pacific Northwest. And I wouldn't be too sad at all if it swallowed Portland whole. So that's about it for today and for this week. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any complaints, anything, as long as it's thoughtful and not just you're dumb, then bring it, because I want to hear it. I want to know. You know how to contact me anyway. You know, you can send me a comment on the YouTubes. You can do a video comment if you want. You can send me messages on the Facebooks. You can tweet me something. You can send me a regular email, whatever you want to do. I'm going to answer it in some way, shape, or form. So do it, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.